All right, hello, welcome back. How's it going?
So good.
So good. Enthusiastic, I like it. How's school going?
It's okay. We're getting through it. Muddling through.
Getting through it? Yeah, you mentioned being a senior. How's the motivation looking?
Strangely enough, I feel very motivated right now to get to the end. Like I've been coming to school, getting assignments done. I don't know. I still haven't decided where I want to go to college yet, so there's that.
What are you looking at?
I'm between Syracuse University in New York and then Rutgers University in New Jersey right now, and I just can't make the decision, and the deadline's also in like 7 days, kind of.
It's in 7 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough that it's like in the middle of, well, not middle, but in like the end of your school year.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Well, today,
Sorry we're late.
you're good. Today, we're going to talk about our athletic identities. So obviously when you're involved with a sport.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, and then today we'll need a sheet of paper and a pen or pencil.
Oh, I don't have
I can supply.
Sweet. Alright, so obviously you all are involved with the sport, so you hold this athletic identity. Today I kind of want to just break down what that looks like, both obviously first within sport, being involved with athletics, you hold that identity, but also how that may play out outside of your performance. So I just want to talk about, when you think about athletic identity, and it's going to be different for everyone, some people are going to value it more than others, and that's perfectly fine. What do you think are some positives about holding an athletic identity? Or identifying as an athlete, yeah, that's just sounds.
like a shift in the mindset.
Having clear goals.
Clear goals, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, what else?
Having a schedule, I think that's like a positive thing for me.
You learn like time management better.
Sweet. Can we think of one more?
You like learn your strengths and weaknesses.
Sweet, good. Alright, what are some of the negative aspects that you see about being an athlete or holding that identity?
Your social life will sometimes take a hit.
For
real?
a lot of times.
It can be overwhelming.
What else?
This probably connects to the one above it, but like being physically challenged can be a negative or maybe a positive.
Hard to balance with school.
Alright, let's try one more.
Pressure to be the best.
Alright, yeah, sweet. This is a good list. It sounded like social life is a big thing that was talked about in like almost everyone's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember those times. Something important to keep in mind with this is that this is going to look different for every athlete. For example, having a schedule, some people may love being on a schedule and having like an organization, and some people could see that as a negative, that they don't like having a schedule, they just kind of like to react to like events going on in their life. And that could be the case for all these and more. Another question is, how does your athlete or identity as an athlete play out outside of sport? Can we think of any ways?
Like, how do, like, other people view you, or?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I think that, being an athlete, like, you're probably, like, viewed differently, like, outside of, that activity. Like, people might see you as someone who, you know, cares about, like, their extracurriculars or their, a lot.
Yeah, so kind of being like viewed because you're an athlete in a certain way without them like knowing really anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and that's kind of like one of the themes here today is like holding that athletic identity. That's going to look entirely different to everyone, kind of like how I already mentioned. Like some people may just be involved with the sport just for like the physical activity or like the social part, and like they may not value it as much as someone who like wants to make it to the professional level. So like even though they share that same identity, it's going to look entirely different. So with the sheet of paper that we all have, I want us to think of 10 of our identities. If you can't think of 10, you can just use like a value and write them down on the sheet of paper in a circle. And I want you to try to determine the circle's size based on how important that identity is to you. Does that make sense?
Like,
Oh,
are
so
we
it's like a
drawing
triangle.
a circle and then writing
You
an
like
identity
write down the
to
thing,
side?
and then I think you circle as much as it's
Like
important to
bigger
you.
is
Like,
more important than here.
Like I have like just a small example with 3 circles. So one of my bigger circles was uncle, and in that circle I wrote family and fun. Like I hold my identity as an uncle pretty high on my list, and then I just wrote like 2 words that kind of summarize it. Family's important to me, and fun, you know, being the funkle. That's an identity that I am motivated to work on and get better at as I go along. And like a smaller circle, but still kind of big, I put sports fan, and then in there I just put entertainment. Like I spend a lot of time watching sports and like scrolling through social media about sports, all that stuff. And then in a really small circle, I put gamer, because it is an identity of mine. I do play video games, but like I don't need them. It's not like a big impact on my life. It's just like a fun little hobby. So does that make more sense? And then it's just gonna be like all spread out. So like they're all 10 separate circles. And then the only thing I ask, like obviously you all have your own identities, is that you put athlete as one of them. And like how big or small you make it is completely up to you. And then we're gonna take like a decent amount of time on this, so like you all can talk to each other. It can be more fun. We don't have to be silent. Just make sure you're thinking about your own personal experiences and identities.
He's trying to get the camera brushing with my hand. Wait, oh my gosh, I don't have the original. Wait, yes, this is such an incredibly specific thing. You had that. I I
Yeah,
It's
that's
acting.
fine.
oh, yeah, I separated just different daughters.
Smart.
Oh, wait, I'm stealing that. Now I'm 4.
And then I know 10 is kind of challenging to think about. So like I said, like if you want to put a value down, that's fine. Like you can put friendship, family, food, anything really. You can put foodie, that's an identity.
A food.
Oh,
I love how the food circle is on your And there's an S at the end.
Oh my god.
What the frick did I just write? Fiance sister. System.
That's so close.
It's like a fish.
Circles are not correct.
They're all
They're all-
circles are correct.
They're all a little off.
Oh, I missed that. I wonder what would happen if I like randomly showed up one day. Would
Yeah.
Sylvia recognize me? I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
she would. Join us.
Six.
6:15 is 7:45 on Thursday. Special guest.
Loki, I could read that.
Yeah. I'm sure Sylvia will remember.
It's all funny games until they ask me to like do something. I'm like, wait. So actually, I do remember how to do a lot of things. Haven't done them in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have photos up in South?
Yes, I was putting up my showcase earlier today.
We saw.
I need to make some edits, but I was like so rushed. Like the I got through period third and then the lunch bell rang and I was like, oh my gosh, like 'cause that's when chaos starts to happen. And also the class was out. And my teacher told me this story about how a couple of years ago someone was setting up their stuff during game support and someone like walked into the glass door and shattered it. I'm like, oh, sleeper.
Sleeper. Can't put napper.
Napper.
Napper. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If you say so.
Making some edits. So awesome.
Girl.
There's so many.
Yours are perfect.
Yeah. Is that parrot? Parrot? Oh, dog. Dog. Just put like furry. Pet. Oh, friends.
Seven.
So she left her tavern outfit in New York? No. Travesty. Whatever will she do?
do we all have at least like 5 or so?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So now for like the next 2 or 3 minutes, just in one group of 2 and a group of 3, just like kind of share like your sheet with your group or pair. Maybe explain like how you chose those certain identities. What was like the most challenging ones to decide, and then maybe like your biggest circle and your smallest circle. Does that make sense? So just like kind of summarize your sheet with 1 or 2 people around you. I know we only have 5, so, and we'll do that for like a couple minutes.
Okay. My biggest are tied for sister and daughter, and my smallest is Napper. And then as for like a friend and athlete.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm
So
sorry, my new friend.
my biggest
My
one
smallest
is
circle is
athlete,
driver.
which
Because
is
I
the
drive
same.
a lot, and I really enjoy it.
No, not that.
I
That's why
should
they're
say
so close to each
my
other.
reader
Yeah.
one figure,
Yeah.
and my smallest one is
Yes,
from
he's,
the Vatican.
okay, so my, oh. wow.
Nice. I didn't know that actually. My smallest one is food.
My biggest one, smallest one? Okay.
That would have been a lot
Do you-
easier if I
what's
combined
my
it.
smallest one? Okay, actually Loki might be the biggest one. I think also, I fear, like acting and
Yeah, that was funny,
performing,
you're right.
performer is like
I
a
think your dad
big
was
one.
Oh, yeah.
Flutist, music,
so
and
early,
stuff.
yeah, it's like
I've done
8:30.
vocals, I didn't really do
Oh,
circles.
girl, I have.
I also put like artist too, that's a big one, because it's kind of aligns a little bit with the career I'm gonna pursue. Okay. I'm like a speech bubble. I don't know.
Thank you.
Alright, cool. Now I'm just gonna ask each person, we're gonna do something similar just as a group. Share your smallest circle and your biggest circle, and then also like try to explain where your identity as an athlete fits into that. Like, is it closer to the big, closer to the small, or anything like that? And we'll have each person go. So who wants to start?
I can start.
Sweet.
Okay, so my biggest circle is athlete. So that is my athletic identity. Because it just takes up so much of my time and it's something I'm really passionate about. And then my smallest circle is Formula One fan, because that's like the second thing I like to do in my free time. I like to watch the races.
Cool. Sweet, thank you. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. I think athlete might be my biggest circle too. And then my smallest one was food. It just didn't measure up as much to some of the other circles.
Fair enough.
Okay. My biggest are tied for sister and daughter, and athlete is pretty close, and my smallest is Napper.
My biggest is food, but I connected it to togetherness because I think of food, I think like being with my family. So that's why it's
There
so
we
big.
go. No, that's good.
And then my smallest one is driver because I drive a lot, but I get to drive with my friends and I really enjoy that.
My biggest one is sister, and my smallest one is pianist, because that's like what I like to do, but I don't really do it that much. And then my athlete one is like it's like in the middle. Yeah.
In the middle. Alright, sweet. Thank you all for sharing. So just to ask, what was like the easiest part about that for everyone?
Family, like putting family down and putting athlete down.
Well, the athlete down, yeah. I gave you guys that one. So, and then you said family is like your biggest one? So like choosing like the most important or like biggest circle that was like easy for you? And then so for your smallest circle, how did you decide to choose that one over like a different identity that you have? Like what made that one make the list over anything else?
For mine, it's because because I like doing it, but I don't have like that much time to, so like it just isn't as important as my other ones.
Yeah, I agree. I think I spend the least amount of time like doing or like thinking about that.
I think like yeah, something similar for me, and also it was just something that like came to mind. I'm sure if I spent like longer on the activity, I might have found like something else that I might put down like over it eventually. But yeah.
Yeah, the timing's kind of hard because like the more you sit there and think about it, like the more like random identities you'll find. Definitely. All right, yeah. So basically, the point of that is obviously it's good to like know of your identities, and an important part of that is that identities are going to change, which is a good thing. Shows some growth. Like for example, I mentioned my identity as an uncle has become like one of the most important. Grad student is also on there, but you could use that as an example too. As two of my bigger identities that obviously have not been present in my life, or my entire life. And then connecting that back to your athletic identity, thinking about like the negatives we put up there, like we mentioned pressure and time and all that. I think sometimes as athletes, it's easy to really focus on the athletic identity and like bring that pressure, and like kind of focus on the negative aspects, kind of like what we've talked about in previous sessions. Like it's easier to think negative than positive sometimes, especially as an athlete. So I just wanted to go through this activity to kind of show that you all are more than athletes, and you all share other identities that are important to you. So sometimes that pressure that we put on ourselves may not be necessary during time. But that's it for today. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. We got practice next.
Yeah.
Are we excited? It doesn't sound like it.
We have a 2K.
Again? Didn't you have that last week?
We had 4 of them last week, but like it's like a different workout we did last week to prep for like this week. This one's like the more important one. So all of us are probably going to be shooting to PR on our
Sounds fun.
stuff.
You had 4? Is it? Oh yeah, you had 4 in one day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a workout. We did like 4 like sequentially, but like had rest in between each one. And I mean obviously each one is not going to be like the fastest because you gotta do 4 of them. Yeah. So, some people in the past were like PRing on some of their 2Ks in the 4x2K workout, which is kind of insane. But yeah, different workout.
That sounds fun.